So you want a bigger chest. With just a few simple changes to the workout plan, I managed to go from this to this in just under a year. And in this video, we're going to go through the simple changes I made to the workout plan so you can maximize your chest workouts and get better gains. What is going on YouTube? Rory Kissing here, Men's Physique IFBB Pro. And in this video, we're going to be discussing how I developed my chest last year and all the steps that I was making, all the mistakes that I was making before, and the changes that we implemented to get this development. So I'll put that back on the screen just for the comparisons. And the first mistake that I'm going to go through is I was very strong in my pushing power. So many people are going to have this as well. So you may be thinking, I'm benching a lot of weight, or either flat or incline, barbell, dumbbell. You can be benching a lot of weight, but you're still lacking the development in your chest. So I was one of those people as well. So I was able to, this was heavy for me, bear in mind I'm Men's Physique, I'm not an open bodybuilder or even classic, but I was putting up 160 kilos on the incline for 8 reps, I think was my PR. And I just wasn't getting the development that you'd expect to have moving that kind of weight. So there is a high risk, high reward element when you come to do flies, and that's going to be mistake number 2, is underestimating how powerful the fly movement is. I would say for myself, I've never been injured doing a fly, touch wood, whereas I've only ever got my injuries doing heavy pressing. So yes, you're going to, in theory, you get a lot more tension when you go through the fly movement in your chest, but at the same time, I've never felt unsafe, and I'm not, this is like disclaimer, don't take the piss when you come to do your flies, don't load up some crazy heavy weight that you've never touched before without doing a warm-up or anything, but I do think people do flies too light. So that was mistake number 2. Now reflecting with that, this is going to be tip number 1, prioritize your fly movements. Now you can do a machine fly, you can do a cable fly, so you have incline, flat. You can do decline on cables as well. You can do dumbbell flies, again, incline or flats. I tend not to do decline. I just think decline dumbbell flies are just a bit awkward and they pull through the wrong area, a bit too much pressure on the shoulders, but that's just my situation, so I stay away from the decline dumbbell flies. But that's tip number 1, prioritize the fly. Now put this as your first exercise in the workout plan. So a lot of people start on their bench or their whatever the heavy press is, whether it be dumbbells or barbells. I recommend starting with a fly movement. So you can choose any of them, or you can rotate between them, going from different weeks. And don't be afraid to go too heavy, like we spoke about. So I will go to a minimum of 8, because again, you don't want to go too heavy when it comes to flies. But 8 is a fine number if your shoulders are capable and healthy. But of course, you're going to have to build up going into that kind of rep range. So you think that could be a little bit crazy, but I built up my dumbbell incline flies to 50 kilos for 10 reps. And it's no coincidence that my chest has never been so thick and full at the same time. Yes, that video is going to be me doing probably 30s or 35s, whichever video I choose, just because that week I was actually doing 20 reps. So yes, I said 50, that was just an example. No, that wasn't in the video. The evidence for that is actually on my Instagram if you didn't believe me, because I never thought I'd be doing that kind of weight on my incline flies, incline dumbbell flies. So I was a little bit in disbelief as well, but that is how I did it. I built up my strength all the way up, and my thickness in my chest just improved up to that point. And I'm not going to be going any heavier than that. I just felt that's going to be too much for my joints to handle, but I can increase the amount of reps from there, and that's how I improve. Now, my tip number 2 is to do more than one fly movement per workout. You can change the angle if you want, you can change the machine, but a lot of the workouts that I see nowadays, people only do one fly exercise, probably at the end for a burnout, whereas I'm saying, back to tip number 1, do it first, and then tip number 2, do it more than once in a workout. You don't have to do it every week, but in general, up the amount of flies you are doing. So now going into my tip number 3, which ties in nicely, is alter your rep ranges. So for instance, on week 1, you can do 8 to 10 for a rep range for every set, and that's going through your flies, your presses, well that's it, flies and presses for chest, right? So the whole workout for that week is going to be 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 reps. And then going into week number 2, you can then try and do the same workout or change it if you wish, prioritize the fly, and have maybe a 15 to 20, 15 to 18 rep range going through that. And then going into week 3, you can go even higher, 25, 30 reps, or you can do drop sets, you can do supersets. So I would say vary your rep ranges. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see at the moment, is people just sticking to heavy bench and they do like 3 or 4 reps. And I don't understand why they're not getting development. Very few people can get very good results doing it that way. I think the majority of people, even if you're watching this video, of course, you're clearly doing something wrong in your plan, which is why your chest isn't growing. So you may be one of these people, or most likely I should say. Change your rep ranges up. Don't be afraid to get higher reps. And it is that simple. That was the changes I made to get my chest development over last year. And I recommend implementing that. Give it a go, see how it feels, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or let me know if you're getting results by doing this, because that will, of course, make me very happy that I could advise and help anyone else who's watching the channel. So if you've gotten this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.